Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. And Steve Ayorinde here, my co-host for this morning, will be doing the honors today. Like I said last week, I'm missing Kayode Komolafe.
We're missing KK.
Yes.
We can't wait for him to
see you next week.
Next week, hopefully. Okay, so we're going to the newspaper review. We start as always with this day on Sunday, the newspaper record. The lead story here says PDP governors, Wike's loyalists in battle over chairmanship secretary. And the rider, governors may settle for Shekarau. FC minister's camp pushes for autumn. And that story is on page 5 of today's This Day. PDP governors, Wike's loyalists. Wike is still playing the game he knows how best to play against the PDP governors. Gbadebo Rosevival spoke about the coming convention of the PDP. And we know that Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State is right in the middle of it. Let's hope that something will come out of that, given that the governors are now, in open battle, shall we say, with the Wike group. The only way that Wike can deliver on what they say is his charge from the ruling party is to make sure that PDP is not having it easy. On top of that lead story, 2027, yes, another political story, APC desperately plotting to infiltrate our ranks, hijack our structures, Labour Party cries out. I think that's what you referenced to, Oji. That's what you referenced to Gbadebo the other time. I don't get the point when certain opposition parties, every time attribute their problems to the ruling party. Why should it be the problem of APC how you organize yourself? If you really can't get your act together, and then crying out that the party is desperately plotting to infiltrate your ranks. Yeah. And then hijack your structure. If your members and your ESCO members are such weaklings that they can sell their birthright for a plate of porridge, why should we blame the person who is offering you something, to betray your own party? But hey, this is politics. Sometimes you really can't predict it. On top of that story on the strip, health advisory, NCDC allays fears of Ebola disease, says no case of outbreak in Nigeria, urges vigilance. That's on page 6. Yesterday we spoke at length about the outbreak of Ebola disease in Congo. Yet again, 13 people died, really sad. 26 people are infected. But of course, there are vaccines these days for Ebola. Lagos and Nigeria once defeated Ebola in 2014. It shouldn't be a problem now. But of course, we should I
hope it doesn't come.
Yeah, we should be guarded. We should be on the lookout. On top of the masthead, NLC backs Nupeng's strike as tanker drivers reject industrial action. Same page 8 as the other story on the Ebola disease. NLC is supporting Nupeng's strike, but the tanker drivers are saying that no, we will not inflict any further hardship on Nigerians. Speak to the president. Let's see what we're able to get out of this. And then last but not the least is the story on Window. Renewed investors' confidence raises Nigerian market capitalization to 138.8 trillion naira in first 8 months of 2025. I think the Window story of this day, whether daily or the weekend editions, are now very known for sort of exclusive, progressive, developmental stories that give you insight into what is actually happening in the country. And 138 trillion naira in just first 8 months of 2025 in the Nigerian market capitalization is something to applaud. Absolutely. Even when we know that, yes, there are other areas of the economy that may still be struggling, which is why I was slightly worried about lawyer Evans Ofeli's submission when he spoke about a failed state, failed government, fail Delta. Failure is so easy to, to bandy.
It's easy to measure when you feel the pain, when you see the sort of, rising cost of living, high inflation. I mean, these metrics that have been highlighted.
Yeah, but that's hardship,
are the metrics,
not failure. That's hardship.
Their hardship, that's correct. That's the right word, hardship. When you see this sort of hardship, it's easy to, call it failure. I mean, it's failure when it comes to things like electricity in Ndokwa, where there's not been electricity in 20 years, and he specifically mentioned that is a failed system. Because
that's unacceptable.
I mean, you cannot imagine.
That's really unacceptable.
What
people should be called out, in that aspect, given that Delta State is a rich state.
Correct. So we can't quantify or qualify that as a hardship.
No.
Definitely a failure. So that was what he was specifically referring to when it comes to Delta State. But when you see this sort of hardship, like I said, cost of living, that is,
cost of living crisis is real.
It's real.
But it's also not peculiar to Nigeria. It's practically everywhere. Everybody is struggling. But that shouldn't also negate a few areas of the economy where things are looking up. It shouldn't negate a few areas where the metric are saying that you seem to be on the right track if you keep at certain policies that will ensure that you do not go back to Egypt, as it were, when it comes to certain areas.
And this government has promised to stay on the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. And they are going to...
And try to, ensure that there are palliatives that people can truly feel and not add to the hardship. That 5% fuel tax thing, which the chairman, what's his name again, Oyedele, is saying that, it is not a Tinubu thing. It's been there. If it's been there since 2007 as part of FEMA Act, why is it now that you are incorporating it into your own tax bill? So keep it in abeyance. Let Nigerians at least breathe for a while. Let them deal with, this effect of the hardship that the removal of subsidy and then the floating of the naira is inflicting on them. Don't add to it, whether in January of 2026 or January of 2027, through the fiat that the Minister of Finance is expected to give on when it should commence. It really shouldn't commence now because Nigerians are not finding it easy. That does not mean that many Nigerians do not appreciate some of the steps that you are taking to take us back to the right path. While we're on the right path, don't add to the burden. That's what Nigerians are saying.
That's what Nigerians are saying. Shall we now
go to this style? Yeah.
And the cover picture is Onyinyechi Basil, Miss Universe Nigeria 2025. If you can have this day style there. And this Miss Anambra was recently crowned as Nigeria's Miss Universe. She will be going on to represent the country at the International Miss Universe contest later in the year. And I'll read the editor's note there. Konya wrote, this is a spin-off from the renowned Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria pageant. Miss Universe Nigeria may be one of the newest crowns on the country's pageantry scene, but it has already begun to carve its own identity, one that demands more from its queens than just beauty. At this year's edition, all eyes were on Onyinyechi Basil, who emerged the winner after weeks of competition that celebrated Nigeria's diversity and culture. For Onyinyechi, the victory was more than a personal triumph, a corporate high flyer working with one of South Korea's top conglomerates. She stepped into the stage carrying not just poise, but purpose. I like that. Not just poise, but purpose. And, she had described her win as a dream come true. She was,
Is she the one that replaced, by the way, the lady from South Africa?
Yes. Unfortunately, she didn't attend that event, I believe. Yes,
she didn't attend?
No, I think that's the story out there. But, she did replace the South African who had those issues at the time. And,
she couldn't be back in South Africa, I want to imagine.
I think she's still here. I think she's in Nigeria. That's what I believe from the last information that I got. But I mean, brilliant cover, beautiful girl. We wish her success. I mean, she really did embody the spirit of the Nigerian people, especially the people from Anambra as well. Kudos to her. All right.
Yeah, she's looking lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's hope that our tenor will, will also be. I had a few friends who attended the ceremony. Yeah. The pageantry, and
I missed it.
Yeah.
But I think that
it was nice.
It's the Silverbird.
It's the Silverbird one. It was
and
the
I think that they've been doing
my friend
fantastic.
Prince Ashekperi, was like, "Where are you? You need to be here." And I'm like, "No, I really can't." I
did miss that event as well. Yeah.
All right, that's a good one.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Okay, so let's go to Sunday Punch, where the screaming burner headline has the kicker, Nupeng versus Dangote. Fuels marketers beg Tinubu to avert Monday strike. Looming danger must be stopped, say Petron and Ipman. And then Nigerian workers cannot be abused without consequences. Nupeng is insisting, with the support of the Nigerian Labour Congress, to down tools because they are claiming that Dangote wants to monopolize. That's a subject had cropped up.
It's not new.
Exactly in a number of times. But the tanker drivers are not having any of that. They're saying that no, we won't add to the wahala of an average Nigerian. So let's see if the president, who's on a working vacation in Europe, will be able to intervene through the Minister of Petroleum and then the Minister of Petroleum for State, since the president is the Minister of Petroleum, isn't it?
Yes, he is the Minister.
And then the Minister of Labour. They should find the lasting solution to this. Nobody should hold Nigerians in perpetual,
So basically, I mean, what would I say? Everything then trickles down at the end of the day to the consumers, whether we like it or not. So I'd also like this window story here on Punch. UK removal threat. Nigerian students scramble for work visas. Did you read that story?
Yes, I mean, I've been following that thing, because a lot of people think that it is Trump America, but there are a number of other European countries that are also having issues that many Nigerians abroad, particularly students, are dealing with, particularly in the UK.
In the United Kingdom.
So it is not just Kemi Badenoch, that is that is having hardline positions when it comes to immigration. Even the Labour Party, that is now struggling, by the way, in the UK, saying that, hey, you can't overstay. We will not take kindly to anybody overstaying their visas. Once you're done, return to your country, because that's what you paid for. The danger in all this is that it will expose many of our students, particularly those in the master's, degree classes, who by law were allowed to go with their family. I did the same when I had my master's in Leicester.
You went with your family.
When with my family, we retain exactly. If you're going to be away for 1.5 years, 2 years, that kind of a thing. So, but the danger here is that for those who see that as an opportunity to japa, it becomes a struggle, because 6 months, 4 months, 3 months down to the expiration of your visa, it's a struggle. And therefore you are now open to all sorts of looking for those who will sponsor you, looking for the kind of work you need to do to extend your visas. And I think that the stuff that they used to enjoy in Scotland, 2 years visa after your master's degree, it looks like everything is now winning. Not everybody is enjoying that. So this is where we are as far as UK is concerned, and it will affect a lot of people. But the point is that at the end of the day, we just have to find a way to make our country work.
So we don't have, this sort of student exchange programs or even going to study abroad is not unique. So I don't know if it has anything to do with fixing our country. I mean, I would love to study in China just to, learn about the culture.
No, why I say that is for those who think that
I understand.
To want to return to Nigeria is not part of the option.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you get the point?
But study abroad is
not.
Yes,
you are free to study to want to study anywhere.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've had people come study here here, and I see that even, you know, certain universities in Nigeria, even the private ones,
Yes.
many foreigners come here to either do their gap year or even come for studies. You know,
Yeah.
so it's anybody is free to go to where they think that they can get quality education.
I'm
If you get
actually
it in
looking
Nigeria,
for
get it.
something I
What are you
saw
looking for?
recently about, you know, I think talking about immigration, the United States, there was this story about, you know, deport yourself with dignity. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I heard something like that.
Yeah,
But I've not followed it in
I haven't
detail.
followed it. But I mean, it just goes to show that these, you know, I don't want to
Deport
be
yourself in dignity.
Deport yourself. There's an app, so you register and you don't have to go
In
through
the
this
UK or
ISIS.
the
This
US?
is the United States as well. So this
Is
is
it
what
the one that you collect about $2,000 just to choose to elect to want to leave on your own?
I
There
don't
was
know.
something
Yeah,
like that.
something about that. But this is what we are facing now with these
Okay.
immigration policies. But go ahead. I wish I saw that. I would have read it out. But go ahead.
Okay, so
There was-
a few more stories on the cover of Punch.
On Punch, yeah.
I think on the side there, how social media agents traffic Nigerian girls into Saudi slave trade, and that's the picture of the foreign minister there. I'm sure that this is an investigative story by the Punch, the sort of a thing that Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa has been talking about. Social media ploy, you know, taking our girls on a slave trade routes all over the place, even within Africa, which is sad. People will have to...
And this is into Saudi for
Into Saudi Arabia.
slave trade. And these are young girls have to be made aware of these issues.
Many
you know,
of them
I
are
believe-
taken there as domestic, you know,
Staff, yes.
But then they also in the process become sex slaves.
Yes.
Along the line.
Yes.
And that's not something that we should just glide over.
You saw the story of young Mercy, who
Yes,
actually went
yes.
to Libya because
Yes.
she was trying to help her mother.
Libya is just another horrible story. Libya.
It was terrible. And she has
story.
become an advocate for against irregular migration, and she's talking about Nigeria being, you know, the best country in the world. She would have preferred to stay in Nigeria than to go through Libya. So I mean, also it's just a call for our young girls
People should be
to
better
be aware,
informed. Yeah.
to know that
Yeah.
these. You know, sort of.
It's not as easy as
it's
they
not.
think,
It's never easy.
as
We've
they
seen
think,
videos of
as they
these
think.
migrants in
No.
the waters and
Yeah.
you know dying and a terrible situation.
From Morocco to Italy,
And so
Spain,
with
and all
this
those things.
sort of information is where I say we have to, you know, find ways to fix our country so that Japa syndrome it should thoroughly reduce at
Absolutely.
this point. Yeah.
Should we go to Telegraph? Do we
Yeah.
have Telegraph there? Sunday Telegraph. And I like that they are saying something about 2023 Electricity Act review, where the National Assembly is to scrap
All right.
Band A, B, C, D tariff categories.
All right.
That's an important story.
Should we do Vanguard instead, since we have
the Vanguard
we have the
Nation.
Vanguard? Yes.
Vanguard,
You
yes.
go ahead with the Vanguard.
Okay,
If you
Vanguard
can
is
pull that.
leading with politicians. It says bumpy road to 2027. Politicians plot to rig. INEC infiltrated in inverted comma. Tinubu shops for Yakubu's successor. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. Bumpy road, really. At
Bumpy
this
road,
point.
you know, and they are claiming, the paper is claiming that plotters mauled printing of multiple identical results. Result sheets plan to create disparities between polling unit results and posts on iRev. That's
I mean, I don't know where this story is coming from. On the window from the Vanguard, it says, Jonathan opens up on eligibility to run again. I am unstoppable. You can read more on that story
Jonathan?
on page.
He said that?
On John.
Has he said anything since?
I mean, this is what the Vanguard is reporting, and we can read more of that on page 25 of the Guardian. The writer there, Judge sheds light on APC INEC's failure to defend suit against ex-president. So we have to know what exactly this headline means.
Exactly.
In terms
Where
of
did he
whether he
where
made
they quote him
made
from?
this statement, if it is a quote from him or from one of his aides or all of that. But it will be interesting to see. He says, I am unstoppable.
if Jonathan says that, it will be interesting to find out where Vanguard is pulling this from.
I mean, legally, he's eligible to run. So, I mean, why not?
There are arguments about it, but of course, we can say that legally,
we've seen the court documents.
There are arguments about his own and then the Aida Tiwa in Ondo State, who's also completing the term of Agagu. But, looming Fubara return, we shouldn't miss that on the cover of the Vanguard. Move for emergency rule extension collapses. IBAS gets order on handover note. The sort of headlines that Vanguard, they are putting it like as a matter of fact, gets order. Order from where? From the president or from the court or from the National Assembly?
Would it be from the National Assembly? It would seem to be from there.
If there was something like that, I'm sure that the National Assembly want to let it come out through them to say that we are for democracy and we want the governor to return after 6 months in abeyance.
Yeah, but isn't his return imminent though? I mean, it
is imminent if there is no obvious reason to want to extend it. And with the president being out of the country at the moment, the likelihood of extension is next to zero. But let's hope that democracy will prevail. As always, that common sense will rule.
Interesting times ahead.
Genix.
Interesting time. Again, a fabulous Sunday we had today, isn't it?
All right. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching and do stay safe. I'm Steve. Are you ready?
Well, thank you for staying with us. I'm Oji Okpe from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.